Hi, my name is Evangeline Bournias. I'm a 2020 senior at University Liggett School. I was just drilling a ring blank, probably a 7mm hole. Then I was going to fill it with a little epoxy and then most likely use a stainless steel ring core. Then I was going to throw it on a ring mandrel and then spin it on a lathe. I know you most likely didn't understand a word that I just said, but that's what a year's worth of projects and researching has gotten me. Now, in order for you to understand a little bit about my story, I'm going to give you a quick history lesson. Hi, welcome to my brief history and information lesson. Over the past 10 years, schools have been rapidly transitioning from life skills classes to what is now known as STEM curriculums, focusing mainly on science, technology, engineering, and math. With this, many schools have dropped their hands-on learning classes, such as woodworking or shop class. This sudden evolution is caused by the higher desire of students to further their educational career through college, and the best way for colleges to judge a student's academics came through testing, such as ACT and SAT. Many schools drop their creative and art classes in order to implement more test prep and college-ready courses. However, just because woodworking or life skills doesn't apply if you get into college does not mean that they should be cut from school's curriculum. Yes, making a wooden ring may seem pointless on the surface, yet students learn how to use powerful tools, measure proper material, and problem solve, all valuable life skills that they may not use on a daily basis, but they will at least have for the rest of their life. Now, you may be wondering, what are the benefits to having these classes if they're dying out? Think about this. Is it not desirable for a student to obtain meticulous hand techniques and 3D visual building skills? In addition to the valuable skills that students learn, they are also doing many hands-on activities, and according to many teachers, their students say doing helps them gain a better understanding of the material. This statement is not false, and in fact reassured by a Harvard grad who took a poll on grades 1 through 12. The students in lower and elementary grade who do more hands-on activities and crafting show a better understanding of their learning and happiness, whereas once students hit high school, their level of energy and desire to learn has rapidly decreased. Yet not only has their type of mood decreased, their style of learning has changed as well. Sitting through lectures is boring. You daze off, you get lost in your notes, and you're thinking about doing other things. Whereas being able to produce a physical craft with your own two hands has a different stimulus and type of learning for students, and allows them to showcase and create their own creative excellence. Alright, enough with this info dump. Back to the forge. Oh good, you're back. Welcome to the Makerspace 2.0, also known as the Knight's Forge. Here, this is where students turn their ideas from paper to a reality. This is also where I spent a majority of my time during my ARP project. Between coming in early, before school, staying late after school, during my free period, flex period, lunchtime, I got a lot of my work done, and it was really fun doing it. All my research and project making has allowed me to create a question, which was, what materials and skills are necessary to create a wood-based innovation class at University Liggett School? To answer this question, I've created a question-based course that will hopefully be offered at University Liggett School. What that means is students will have the opportunity to create something of their own invention to solve a certain problem. For example, if I need to put my mug on something, students can create a coaster, a koozie, a table, or a tray, or anything else that they can think of. And basically from that, I created my first project, which was my tree table. Now, it's not yet finished because of COVID, but I have the tabletop and the table legs, and I plan to finish it before the end of COVID. But basically what I did is I sat down, I drew out my design, and then I went to work on my table. Now, in order to get the experience that I needed, I had to take some practice runs. Here was one of the first projects that I made. It's a B for Bournias and a P for Mr. Provenzano, my awesome mentor. To make these drafts, I used what's called a router to engrave the letter that I wanted to make. After I did that, I mixed up some epoxy and poured it in the mold. Once I let it dry, well, not dry because it's an exothermic reaction, I had to sand it down and make it smooth. Now, not all my projects turned out great. In fact, when I was making rings in the beginning, they were not great at all. It took a lot of trial and error for me to eventually create one of these, and it's something that I'm most proud of. Even small fracks like this, if you can see the crack, can cause detrimental problems to the ring itself. That, to say the least, was a bit devastating. I believe that was my seventh ring core that I went through that day. But that's not the only danger that presents in this room. There's a lot of things that you could easily cut yourself on, break, or even frackings from the lathe could easily poke you in the eye, poke your skin, and, cause you to go to the emergency room. Which brings me to my next point. This is the bandsaw. And I actually had a very bad experience with the bandsaw, and I was cutting a blank for a ring, and I was going to flick the ring blank that I had made out of the way with my thumb, and it got caught on the bandsaw, and I had to go to the operating room and get some stitches. This experience was all about trial and error for me. I gained some new hand skills, some great visual skills, and some newfound confidence and appreciation for learning. And in addition to that, I've also gained a new hobby. This class needs to be offered at Liggett. It not only gives students a memorable experience, but also it will give them an edge in the long run. I want to say a special thank you to Ms. Manwala for pushing me to be my best and pursue this ARP project. Here's the lamp I made for you. It took me a really long time, so I hope you appreciate it. And I want to say a special thank you to my mentor, Mr. Provenzano. I wouldn't have had the experience, loved my ARP as much as I did, or be the person I am today without him. He's taught me so much about woodworking, and I loved making jokes with him down in this space. It was definitely the highlight of my senior year, and I can't thank him enough.